Some of the girls that are taken are not even that of age. Some of them are 12, 13, 14. They go sell to the truck drivers. Later on, they go into the trucks, do something else. They're given money. They survive.
I'm not feeling so good to watch my young siblings not to eat. I'm not feeling so good not to see my young ones going back to school because of not having enough money. So I'm like, can I be a sacrifice?
Girls as young as 12 on the border between Zambia and Zimbabwe are faced with what seems an impossible situation. Do they watch their siblings starve, or do they sacrifice themselves to be exploited by truck drivers and put food on the table for those they love? Child Impact is providing another option that allows these girls to chase their dreams.
Chirundu is a small town that borders Zimbabwe about 1 hour from Riverside. And one characteristic that makes this town unique is the amount of traffic with large truckers that drive through for import and export. As we began to explore this area, we recognized a very vulnerable population in these communities. The vulnerable group that we discovered was teenage girls. Often the responsibility and the burden to take care of their elderly grandparents or their younger siblings rests upon these ladies at a very young age. Because basic needs are barely met, education is not a priority, and these girls have some very difficult decisions to make.
They've got no choice. They can't be watching their kids, sisters, and brothers starving. They have to go there. They've got no choice to say, if I stay at home, my kid sister will not eat anything.
By providing an education for these girls, we hope to intersect before they get to that high-risk age and be able to provide them a different hope and a different future.
Education is important because, look at me, it has helped me to become strong. Through that, I learned because I put food on my table. Yeah, I paid fees through the bottles that I used to sell, the water. Yeah, so if any of these girls would do that because they've been given an opportunity, what I would say to them is that they can just use it wisely because it only comes once.
So imagine how a girl child gets an education, they go back to their community and be an example to other children out there, be an example to their young ones. They become leaders, they try by all means, to make those young ones not to go back to the truck driver situation.
Our dreams for these girls is to be able to see their goals and dreams being fulfilled. Whether it's to be a faithful mother taking care of their own children someday or to become a doctor, we want to give them that opportunity. We are so thankful to be able to partner with Child Impact so that children and communities all around us can have lives that are mentally, physically, and spiritually fulfilling. This is our passion, and this is what drives our mission.
It's no longer putting food on their tables in survival, them becoming more strong women. Now they can focus on achieving their dreams.
Several years ago, Child Impact initiated a project called Operation Child Rescue. Child sponsorship for impoverished and disadvantaged children has always been the core to the mission of Child Impact. This new project, Operation Child Rescue, focuses on the most vulnerable children who are entrapped by exploitation and considered highly at risk. Both rescue and prevention are focused on. The first project started in India several years ago, a country where hidden brothels, begging rings, and forced child labor in factories happen all too often.
It could be girls and women who are trafficked to the worst of the brothels, locked inside and forced to see customers every day against their will.
We have all seen the devastation caused by the war in Ukraine. The atrocities are hard to comprehend. Women and children have poured across the border seeking safety. However, some have used this crisis to exploit these evacuees by trafficking them. Discover how Child Impact has taken a lead in providing safety for those at risk during this turbulent and uncertain time.
At first, Yuan, our church member, he went to the local community, and the people from all over, they would come and donate things, and we didn't even have enough space in the buses to get all these things into the buses. And so 3 buses left a few days after the war had begun to go down there, and the deal was he would take all the items there, donate them, then sell his buses and come back. But the problem was when he saw all these people there standing at the border, some of them being packed into huge trucks, and we found out that some of them never reached their destination but were brought somewhere else. He decided to just sell his bus at another time and fill it with refugees, and they were so thankful. And I'm very thankful that they feel that they are safe with us and that they can trust us.
So we have here maybe young women, we have children, we have young girls. And of course, there is unfortunately somewhere a need for girls and women. And human traffickers use that. And so I think it is important to have a kind of official help organization who is trying to show them this is a bus. There will be 30, 40, 50 people on the bus, and getting the feeling, oh, these are really people who understand us, who love us maybe even. And with that kind of trust, it is a good help to use the buses and to bring them quickly to Austria, Germany, maybe even other countries.
We are all about helping vulnerable children, and who is more vulnerable than a refugee? They're being totally displaced. Their whole security is just removed from them. And so we want to be here firsthand and be able to take these women and children to a safe place. We've called it Safe Passage. And I'm excited that we're able to be a part of that journey as Child Impact. It's heartbreaking to see all the loss that has taken place. And we want to be just a little part of giving some hope going forward. There are some inhumane practices that have been criminalized, so they go underground. One such brutality is called FGM. In Kenya, due to government oversight, the practice is carried out on even younger girls before suspicions would arise. FGM is seen as a rite of passage into womanhood, but this couldn't be further from the truth. Child Impact partners with the Omaleka Trust to protect these vulnerable girls.
The Omaleka Trust is basically a safe home, which is a home for girls that have experienced trauma in their lives, whether it be FGM, which is female genital mutilation, childhood marriage, rape, abandonment, anything like that. We take in girls that are under the age of 12 down to infants.
I would say, in my own words, being given a second chance, being given a second home that you are not able to have.
The reason that we're in the location we're at is the need is greatest here. So once a child is brought to us, or a baby, then what we do is we provide the best care we can for them. We have a social worker on staff, we have nurse aide on staff, we have extended care where they can see a pediatrician, an obstetrician, we have a psychologist. They get to go to school, we provide education for them. We will sponsor that child even after they've transitioned back home, all the way through university.
I would say the children here are God sent. They are the Malaika. God knows why they are here. God placed them here for change, to make change in them. And being the angels here, I believe when they go out there, they will have more wings to fly around and make the difference.
I knew there was a passion inside of me for little girls who had experienced trauma or things in their life that they found hard to express. So I always tell the girls that when you tell your story, the first time you tell it, it's so hard. And the next time it's hard, but each time you share, there's something healing.
Healing is very important. It is key. It is number one. The first thing we do, we cancel until that time they are able to get back on their feet and feel that despite what has happened to us, we can still make it in life. After talking to them, after doing everything together and telling them that this is not the end of the road, you can still make it in life. And indeed, they are doing that.
I encourage the girls to share their story. It's not easy. And when you talk about it, it brings back memories from then.
I'm seeing that it's giving these girls an opportunity to interact with other girls or to interact even with people who come to learn about their sad stories, the sad stories that they've gone through, all the things that have happened to them.
They're like my own daughters, or your own child. Some people have big dreams. You want, them to be successful in life and to be able to have good jobs. But I think for me, I just have a simple dream. I just want them to feel valuable, to feel worthy, that their life counts and they're special.
In the mountain villages of Palawan, Philippines, illiteracy is commonplace, and so is child marriage. A jungle school has been constructed to open up a different path for these children and to provide a bright future. We would like to share with you the story of baby James. Baby abandonment happens for many different reasons. Here is his story.
My name is Marlene Limbos David. I am a teacher to the indigenous people called the Palawans. I am also a Palawan. I remember it was a Saturday when I heard some ladies talking. They said there was a woman who died during childbirth. The villagers were planning to bury the baby with his mother. They believe in a superstition that if a mother dies, the baby should be buried with her. So the father left the baby in the mother's grave. Fortunately, some villagers saw the baby. The baby's name, when translated, means abandoned. So, abandoned was abandoned in his mother's grave. For a week, no one gave him a bath and was very dirty. That time, my sister was somewhere near here and I told her all about it. She was so happy and told me, I want to adopt the baby. She said, it's a boy. I said, I'll go there and pick him up. So, my sister made her way up the mountains despite the storms, and when she saw the baby, it was love at first sight. Maybe it comes naturally for us because we are orphans. We have a heart for these kinds of situations. When we see a baby in need, we feel the urge to help. We don't want them to go through what we went through. We were very young when our parents died, so we grew up without a father and a mother. We know the feeling of not having a mom and a dad. Most of all, we know the feeling of not having a home. That's why we want others to feel the love that we were deprived of. What motivates me is love. The love that the missionaries made us feel. It's the firewood that keeps us burning. The love that fills us is what pushes us to show this love to others, to love the less fortunate like us before, to love them like how we felt from the missionaries.
Becoming an orphan is the most vulnerable of life situations. Intervention is required for survival. At Falco's Children Village in Tanzania, children find not only protection, but a loving environment where healing takes place. Listen for the joy and laughter in this story. We start with the discovery of Miracle Moses.
On October the 17th of 2013, I was given a call that social welfare was going to give us a newborn baby that had been found in a graveyard.
When they dug him up, they found him in a gunny sack, a plastic bag wrapped around him. He had been there long enough where the sun was beginning to melt the plastic bag to his face. So the plastic bag, and he had the umbilical cord and the placenta was still on him. He was about 12 hours old. Took him to the hospital and they cared for him, took all the sand out of his eyes, nose. I mean, any longer he would not have survived. Because he came from the ground, his name was called Moses because he was thrown up out of the ground. But Miracle Moses is his name.
Moses is one of many of children that's been rescued. There's more orphans in the country of Tanzania than the population of Houston, Texas proper by itself. There's approximately 2.5 million orphans in the country of Tanzania. We found children given to us that had burns all over them because they were abandoned to us with a stranger, and the stranger didn't want them, so the stranger threw boiling water on them. We have children that were thrown in toilets. We had 3 girls that were in the process of being sold to either be a wife or a prostitute. And so we have many, many stories. It's hard for maybe some of you to understand what it's like.
We never stop crying for these children. We never. Because someone is praying, fasting to have a baby, they're infertility. They are praying, and it's happened to me. I'm a good example. I have 15 years praying for a child, even one, I have never get, and someone is throwing up. So,
we are here to try to rescue as many as God allows us to feed them, to clothe them, to educate them, to give them chance, to give them hope. If you have hope, you have enough. And we want to give them the hope of God, the hope of Christ, His love that transcends every border, every child, no matter how small, no matter how large. We bring this hope. We bring this hope, not just us, but for everybody who are crusaders with us for God's cause, like Child Impact, to bring hope to each child, to be a family of hope, Christ hope to all these children.
Child Impact has embraced the mandate of Isaiah 58 to break the chains of those enslaved by the evils of human trafficking, which is equivalent to modern-day slavery. Our goal is to eradicate exploitation, setting vulnerable children free to have a bright future, one that is filled with hope. Friends, I believe that inside the heart of every human being is a desire to make a difference in this world. July 30 is the World Day Against Human Trafficking. You are watching this video because someone felt it was important to shine a light on the evils of human trafficking. Human trafficking is an underground crime that needs to be brought to the light of day. 40.3 million people are victims of human trafficking globally. That is equivalent to the population of California. It's time to shine light in a dark place. Only 1 out of 100 individuals enslaved by human trafficking ever finds freedom. It's time to shine light in a dark place. Victims of human trafficking only live an average of 7 years after being taken against their will. It's time to shine light in a dark place. I'd like to invite you to become an advocate. Become a voice for those who have been silenced. As you identify ways to live out Isaiah 58 in your own life, may it involve shining your light in a dark place. Together, let's eradicate exploitation.